Hi everyone and welcome to the Fishhead Creations podcast, where I pull out one of my interesting knitting projects every time and talk you through the details. My name is Lana, you can find me on Ravelry as Obsti and on Instagram as Caledoniana. And as always, I'd really like to hear from you and just get into a conversation. And I've noticed a few new subscribers, so welcome to the channel, thank you for giving me a shot. And welcome back to everyone who's been watching before, of course. I'm not good at those thanking things, so please don't think I'm not grateful for you taking the time to watch my podcast, even if I not thank you for it every episode. Just think it's just so much blabbering, and you know I'm thankful. Good. Well, I hope I'm through with my cough and I can really talk through the episode again without just croaking in the end. It's not completely gone, but it's getting better every day, so I'm hopeful that it will work out fine. This week I'm actually going to talk about a sweater I've knit. Well, it must have been in April because it was a birthday present and I managed to finish it for the person's birthday. It was for a very good friend who's one of my most knitworthy friends of all time, so I decided he would get a complete cable jumper for a very tall guy for his birthday. And then just a few weeks before that, when I was just about to start this project, I got bitten by a cat and could not knit for 2 to 3 weeks because I had my left hand in a cast. And, well, you can maybe see the scar here. There's several more on the finger, so I couldn't use my left hand at all. And then, in the end, I had 9 days left to knit this whole jumper, and I made it. I gave it to him without any needles attached to it. But that meant it was actually too short. Well, had I knit the body longer, I might have finished still, but I wouldn't have had enough yarn to finish the second sleeve because I had to use my 6 grams of leftovers from a previous project to finish it. However, it was too short in the body, or it still is, so that's why I got it back, because I finally got some more of the yarn, because I bought from the producer for my own current project, so I can actually rip out the bottom hem and make it longer again. But we'll get to that later. I just wanted to show you how Finco, which is one of my favorite yarn producers in the world, sends out the hanks of yarn. They are barely twisted at all and just folded over once. You might think it tangles quite a bit, but this yarn is just so, well, stable in its position, maybe, that it really doesn't tangle at all, even sent out in this loose state, and you can just put it on a swift and wind it easily. And yeah, this is this huge, loosely wound, loosely spun, woolen spun, organic merino hanks of yarn. This is just, I love this yarn, especially in the undyed colors. I knit one sweater out of this in the black, yeah, dyed black. Sorry, I'm starting to pick out. And the black yarn obviously needs a lot of dye to get that dark, and it's a lot less soft. It's still a nice yarn, and I really like that jumper I made from it. But this one, this undyed, it's so much softer. It's really lovely. I love this yarn. It's around a sport weight. It's 300 meters per 100 grams. Not sponsored, just a fan. I love those loose, big hanks of yarn. I had so much fun. But let's get to the actual knitting. This is the Ardmore Gansey by Kate Davies from her Inspired by Eyelet book. And yeah, as you can see from the ratio between body and arms, the sleeves just fit, but the body is just a tad bit too short. This Gansey style jumper is actually constructed in a quite interesting way, because you start the body from the bottom, and when I'm knitting bottom up I would usually do the sleeves first, but that wasn't an option in this thing. So you do the body first, You knit in the round until you reach the underarms, at which point in the front, let me get this correct, in the front you have this panel of ribbing, because you need a different stitch count, of course, between the plain stockinette and the cables, which pull in a lot more because you want the same width. So Kate Davies added this panel of ribbing to hide the increases down below and starts the cabling from the ribbing. Then you knit flat for the back, which is just plain stockinette, and you do some armhole shaping here, just as you would do for a satin sleeve. Put the yarn or the stitches on waste yarn separately for the back and the shoulders, because you knit the shoulders slightly further, just for the neck to be just a little bit raised. And then you knit the front flat as well with a cable panel and also the armhole shaping, and obviously put the neck stitches on hold a little earlier, because even for a man you want the neck slightly raised. Then you graft the shoulders as far as I can remember. Looks grafted, not sewn. Yeah, must have been grafted because I'm just rubbish at seaming shoulders without leaving a visible seam. So I'm pretty sure they were grafted. And then you pick up stitches around for the neckband. You can see it's quite high. It's just a very slight turtleneck because it starts from such a narrow neck opening already. And it was supposed to be double the length, which I didn't think my friend would like. So I just stopped at this point and did a stretchy bind off. The interesting part then, because at this point it's just a regular construction for a satin sleeve, is how you actually do the sleeve, because they are not set in, or I would have done them first bottom up. What you do is you go around the whole sleeve cap, not sleeve cap, armhole, pick up stitches and then start with only, I think, the middle 10 up here, and do a short row sleeve. So you're knitting short rows back and forth until all picked up stitches from the armhole are knit, and then you join them around and knit down and decrease quite rapidly and quite dramatically. This looks quite short already. Maybe I should lengthen the sleeves as well, but he said the sleeves fit. So yeah, that's the Ardmore Gansey. You can see in this sweater as well how much the yarn grows widthwise. You can see it even better from this side, maybe? I don't know. It has grown quite a bit at the bottom, so it's a lot wider at the bottom than at the top, even though they were the same width to begin with. This yarn does grow. It's a woolen spun yarn. They tend to grow widthwise all the time, so you just have to live with that. But yeah, I'm really proud of how I picked up the stitches. I think it really looks quite neat. And the way I did that is I took lots of those little safety pin stitch markers and just marked the halfway point and then the halfway point again and again and again. So I was down to little parts of the armhole where I was supposed to pick up 10 stitches every time, I think. Or maybe 3 times 10 and once 11 or something like that. So it was only very, very short stretches of picking up where I had to space out stitches evenly, and then I knew, okay, I've reached this marker, I can start counting again, and made it a lot easier to pick up the stitches in a very even manner. And yeah, I don't have any pictures of my friend wearing this, but it really fits him quite well, and I think this kind of sleeve construction works really well on a man with broad shoulders. I wouldn't really wear this kind of sleeve construction myself. When I was finished with it, because it was a surprise gift, I didn't have him try it on as I went. So I just put it on to see how it fit, because he has almost the same bust measurement as I have. Obviously in different proportions everywhere, but if it fits me rather loosely, I know it will fit him in the bust and chest circumference area. Which it did, but those kinds of sleeves just look odd on me. You can see how far to the outside it would have been. So it wouldn't work on me, but it's designed to be for a man, and in general men have differently shaped bodies than women, and I think for a man the shape works really, really well. So what I'm going to do now, because it's too short, is to actually pick up the stitches just above the ribbing. Because it's knit bottom up, I can't just pull out a bind off at the bottom. So I'm going to pick up all the stitches just above the ribbing and then really cut off the ribbing. And then I'll knit down another probably 10 centimeters in stockinette before I do the ribbing again. So a bit of sweater surgery ahead of me. I don't look forward to picking up the stitches, to cutting it off, and to picking out all the yarn bits that cutting it off will bring me. But I really think it's worth it, and my friend's worth it because he really likes this jumper. It's the second one I knit for him. Last year for Christmas he got the Amalie by Velis Jonsdottir, which is a free pattern on Ravelry, which she had written for some kind of anniversary of the Easter eggs yarn manufacturer. But this one's the second I knit for him, and he wears both jumpers quite frequently and really, really likes them. So it's worth taking the effort to make this fit him really well, because a short jumper won't keep you warm when you need it. You need warmth around your knees and your back, and well, if a jumper is too short, it will not provide the warmth where you need it. So that's what my plan is, and that's why I have this jumper back here. And I hope he will love it even more and wear it even more when it actually fits him properly. That's just one of the problems maybe with surprise knitting and gift knitting, and also I think with this yarn, because this was before I actually measured one of my jumpers before and after washing them, which was a Holst jumper, the Diamond Valley I talked about. And I think all non-superwash woolen spun yarns will tend to have this. They will grow widthwise with washing and wearing them, but they will shrink lengthwise. And I think that's partially what happened to this one, because it was definitely longer in the body when I first finished it. So it will have shrunk actually instead of growing what I hoped for. So yeah, some sweater surgery ahead, but I really think it's worth it because it's a lovely jumper and it fits him very well, and the shoulders and length is just easily adjustable. Even more so in a man's jumper where you usually don't put in any waist shaping. It's just knit straight down. So it will be actually quite easy to do because there's no increases or decreases to worry about. So yeah, I'm quite happy with this one. I should take care not to leave too many cat hairs on it. He's here frequently, and he really likes our cats, so he won't mind if there's a few more of their hairs on his jumper, because I'm pretty sure I knitted in a significant amount of cat hair when I first made it. So yeah, that's it for the Ardmore Gansey. There won't be an episode next week because I'm going to Edinburgh, and I will only be back very late on Wednesday evening, and I have to work Thursday and Friday, so I won't have time to record. But my only purpose in going there is doing a yarn crawl, so I'll be visiting the yarn shops I haven't been to before. So far I've only been there for Edinburgh Yarn Fest, and at that time everything except Kathy's Knits was exhibiting at Edinburgh Yarn Fest, so I didn't get to visit all those stores. Oh, I've been there on other occasions, but not with a lot of time for yarn shopping. So yeah, whatever. I'll be going to Edinburgh next week. I'll be going to the yarn shops. I hope to bring back some treasures. Although I did just inherit a whole stash of my friend's late mother-in-law. She passed away earlier in the year, and now they managed to sort out all her stash, all her knitting patterns, and even a knitting machine. So I now have a significant amount of cotton yarns, which I will never use, I think. So if anyone ever needs cotton yarn, I have a full rainbow of colors and several sweaters quantities, and I don't think I'll ever use them. So let me know if you are interested. I'd be happy to arrange something and get them out of my tiny flat. But there were also some treasures, a sweater's quantity of bright red superwash DK worsted yarn, and some interesting things, and a knitting machine. I haven't figured out yet how it actually, well, in theory I know how it works, but I haven't managed to make it work. There's one spring on the yarn tensioning thing that doesn't really work properly, so I have to look into that. And other than that, I just think I used too thick yarn for it, because it's meant to knit at a very fine gauge. So I'll just have to play around with it. I can't leave it set up here because of the cats, so I'll take it over to my parents, where I can just set it up in my old room, which is now my mom's sewing room. And I can just leave it out on the table and go there and play around with it, which I think will make things a lot easier. Even more so because my parents won't be home for most of the winter, actually. So I'll just have the house to myself to play around with the knitting machine there. Maybe, if I can get it to work, I'll do just some kind of video. By no means a tutorial, but just a how I'm figuring out things video. We shall see. Until then, we shall see each other hopefully in 2 weeks after my trip to Edinburgh, and maybe I'll have some finished knitting from the trip to show for it. Although I don't think I'll take my recent jumper project. I haven't decided yet. I do want to knit on it, but it's a huge garment and I'm only going for 2 or 3 days. So late on Sunday and then be back late on Wednesday, so 2 full days. I haven't decided yet what knitting to take. Maybe just socks. I don't know yet. But thank you very much for watching. I'll be back in 2 weeks, and until then, I hope to hear from you on Instagram, on Ravelry, in the comments below. And yeah, I'll be back soon. Bye! I was actually hoping to show you Loki on the radiator, because since I've turned it on again a few days ago, that's where he lives now. And that's where he lives every winter, because he just loves being on the radiator. It even means I have space in the bed sometimes, but apparently right now he's just too cozy here.